Hello everyone. I'll be making a presentation on FPGA-based enterprise SSD reference design. That's how the agenda is going to be. I'll show a block diagram of reference SSD design, then get into the design challenges. Those design challenges are primarily related to the configurability part as well as the implementation challenges, just because we are talking about an FPGA implementation. From those design challenges, how we are able to achieve an implementation in FPGA through some of the configurable IP components. So I'll go through those IP components, which one can use to create enterprise SSD in an FPGA. That's how we have done one reference design. I have a block diagram of that and some of the feature list, and then I'll close with a summary about a couple of slides on our company itself. Let's get into the reference design. That's how the block diagram of a reference design looks like. You have a PCI interface. It's NVMe based. You're going to be talking to host over a PCI Express interface. Then you have NVMe controller, which is actually managing all the NVMe specific functionality, doing the data transfer, managing the PR, PS, GLQ management. And then the heart of the design is the enterprise flash controller. That's the block where actually a lot of flash specific complexities come into the picture. It's going to be interfacing to physical flash. And of course, for it to happen on a device, you would need a hard processor system. So HPS, which is available in these FPGAs available today, but what one can use is some of the GPIOs and the DDR3 and 4 controller. So the interface-wise, you have got a PCI Express, flash, DDR3, 4, and the firmware interface, where a lot of value-added functions are going to be added. In terms of data path, there is going to be data movement from PCI Express host side through NVMe to the flash and vice versa, and then you have the control path to all the components in the reference design. So let's get to the challenges. It's a reference design. We want to have a flexibility so that the design has a lot of hardware configurations. That means it can scale up in terms of the number of flash channels. It can scale up on the PCI Express side in terms of whether it's going to be single by 4 or dual by 2, how many queues. But that's a challenge, that how you create a design which can scale up. It should be able to handle various target technologies. When we talk about the target technologies in FPGA, you have different families within a particular vendor, and of course there are different vendors offering very similar solutions. So it should be able to handle not only a particular FPGA but across FPGAs, within FPGA, multiple families. So that poses a big challenge. And of course, it's a reference design. It's not a full solution. So there has to be a lot of customization options available in the design so that a user for a design can actually take it into a real product. And of course, it should have a lot of hooks where statistics gathering, error recovery, reclaim, where labeling, a lot of value-added features which are required for an enterprise SSD. Those can be built on top of what we provide as a reference. There are a lot of challenges just because the specification allows a lot of configurability. These are the challenges which are specific to the specification. For example, NVMe, number of IO queues at depth. You have to have some flexibility in terms of allow customer to implement solution where can scale up in terms of the number of IO queues. Vendor-defined commands, that's another optional feature. You want to have a design which allows end product to have that flexibility. Endurance support, how to have endurance support built in so that you can have a longer life cycle for the flash. Then the vendor-specific command arbitration, multi-path I/O support, whether the NVMe itself allows the multi-path I/O. Flash, the reference design should be able to handle a couple of standard interfaces, toggle and on-key. Number of flash channels, it should allow scalability in terms of how many flash channels it can have so that optimum solution can be done based on what is the target device and the power. And of course, error correction. As we are scaling up on the flash side, there are still some implementations which would like to have PCH, but most of the future ones are looking towards LDPC. So there has to be flexibility in the design. The reference design should be created such that you can replace one with the other one. And then there are implementation challenges. Basically, how you partition the full functionality between hardware and software. What goes into the hardware and what you would like to keep in the software so that you have a better control, you allow more value-added features to be added in a real product. Buffering has to be very efficient because, of course, latency is of a critical importance for an enterprise SSD solution. And the clock frequency and the data path support goes hand in hand because what is the target frequency you can achieve on a particular device? You need to make sure that you can scale up on the data path width if you can't run at a very high frequencies. The design, the components you have to choose as a reference design should be flexible enough for optimum solution to pick and choose between frequency and the data path width. A number of DMA engines. So this is again related to the performance, how many commands you want to have in flight, and each of the DMA channels is actually going to be managing one NVMe command at any given point in time. How you actually architect your flash site, how many channels you have, how many LUNs are there, you need to make sure that you can utilize the PCI Express bandwidth fully. So this is another thing, because each DMA engine, which is the context for the NVMe, is going to add hardware. So you need to make sure that there is a flexibility in the design where you can add more number of DMA engines you want. And of course, you want it to be as much processor independent, and architecturally, you should be able to port it to particular device which may or may not be using even ARM. This is a challenge. You want to keep the processor independence in your overall reference design. And of course, because you are moving across FPGA families, you want to make sure that some of the files which are already there in the device, you are actually able to use them, you are able to interoperate them, and you are able to pass the compliance and certification requirements. So your design has to make sure that there are going to be third-party IPs, you'll be using third-party VIPs for the SSD controller design to be verified. And it should be independent so that you can pick and choose whichever is the best for you. So finally, the goal of the NVMe SSD reference design is to address all the features. And again, the feature is superset of what spec allows. And you want to make sure that the design, implementation, and verification effort is least. And again, how we do that is by using some of the pre-verified, certified IP components. And of course, it should be scalable to meet the latency, bandwidth, and the quality of service requirement. And again, these are challenges, and these can be met if you have some of the IP components, the blocks which I showed earlier. One can use NVMe controller IP, which is just performing the NVMe controller functions. What we have is the UNIX, Universal NVMe Express Controller. This is a certified, I believe this is only NVMe IP, which is certified by the UNH. So again, as you can see, there's a lot of functionality in hardware. The components which are in the red are the ones which are configurable. As I said, you can decide how many IOQs you want to have, what is the depth of those IOQs, how many commands you want to handle in flight at any given point in time that is directly related to the number of DMA engines. So this is configurable in the IP. And again, what type of interface you want to have in your full design. So if you are talking about having a AXI-based interface, this can provide you AXI interface so that it just plugs in. And this is fully verified, so you can have a solution much quicker than the PCI Express. Again, there is a lot of configurability in the PCI Express, whether it supports SRIOV or not, what type of functionality on the PCI Express side does it support, can you support bifurcation, which would be required if you want to have a by 4 or a 2 by 2s. And also, if you are again looking to implement an SoC solution which already has an AXI, you would like to have a bridge sitting on top of the IP so that the interface becomes AXI and you can actually plug the PCI Express directly with, say, NVMe controller or even the flash subsystem, which also be AXI based. And of course, DDR3 and 4 memory controller, again, we need certain compliance in terms of AXI 4, DFI, because again, you are having a flexibility to pick and choose the device. QoS, because there are going to be multiple masters in your solution, there is going to be, you want to have the path to the DDR already being handled by the controller itself rather than you designing your own QoS scheme. And of course, in FPGA, you want to have some flexibility because you can't really run at a very high speed. So you want to have a solution which can be actually implemented in a quattro mode, where your core clock requirement is much less than what you are running it at the line. So this is a block diagram, and then this is the heart of the IP. This is the enterprise flash controller. You can have like a host interface which is talking to the NVMe, the FEMA, which is the flash interfaces, and the media access block, and the flash channel. These are the actual interface modules which are talking to the flash. So you can instantiate as many channels as you want to support. And the heart of the IP is the HCA, which is the host command accelerator. This is where one can implement the full FTL in hardware. So all the table mapping, lookup, everything is implemented in hardware. You have the DDR3, 4 for that. And this is where there is a lot of software, handshake is built in for reclaim, endurance, error logging, and other dynastic feature implementation. Flash interface, it does read-write temporal sequencing, basically scatter-gather, the RAID, the ECC, encryption, and compression. So this is the main data path, and also it helps in the wear leveling by having the hot and cold data, different pools. Host interface is directly deals with NVMe. Flash controller, as I said, is talking to the flash devices. So this is what one can do. And again, if you're not using the hard IP, which I showed earlier, you can actually have all these IP components and create a similar solution where each of the individual components are there and they're hooked up through AXI. So we have one solution as a reference design. If you need more information, it is available in our booth, again 1.2 and the PCI Express Gen 3. This is a solution which is available. I'll just take 1 minute for introducing the company. We are headquartered in Milpitas. We are an IP company. We do a lot of interconnect and memory IPs where we have NVMe and enterprise flash controller. And this is one slide which I want to highlight. As I said, there is a lot of configurability required for us to serve different needs in the market. So our IPs are architecturally configurable so that we can tweak requirements as needed from the industry. And we do a lot of certification. NVMe, we actually got it certified. The PCI Express is a plugfest through the PCI SIG. Our focus is on that to serve the actual requirement by providing these IP components and building a design which one can start with. Thank you.